purpose-filled, who live for purpose, live in purpose. And we're going to do that with 3 categories or 3 boxes. Provision, protection, performance. What does purpose look like when it comes to provision? Is provision only limited or truncated to finances? Can provision be more than that when we think about purpose? When we think about protection, are we just supposed to be men who protect physically? Are there any other forms of protection that we can walk in purposefully? Performance. Again, we judge each other as men, the size of our pockets, how well we perform at work, especially in the culture that we live in, but also sexually. Most of us learn sex through ways that are unhelpful. And we keep this performance scorecard with ourselves, and we lie to each other as men. Oi, oi. Shy, I mean, I didn't buffet. Yeah. But our shy neat. Right? And then we keep the scorecard among ourselves. And so how can we live purposefully in all those categories? With all of that said, the final P, underneath those 3 categories or boxes, there's pressure. And this pressure comes as a result of what we heard today, this morning in Genesis 3, and that's sin. And so there's a pressure for us to perform, pressure for us to protect, a pressure for us to provide. And that stifles how we actually navigate those 3 things in light of our purpose. So when I get to purpose, with these 3 things, performance, protection, provision, very aware of this underlying pressure that we have. And so these gentlemen will help us with that. Maybe we'll start with Apostle. If you, and this is a question for everybody, and if we can keep it brief. Keep it brief. Please. Yeah. This is the only time you're allowed to perform for 2 minutes, right? What's your experience of manhood so far? You've lived, as long as you've lived, what would you define or even explain what your experience of manhood has been so far? And then we'll go to Pastor Easy, Themba, and down the road,
Yeah, for me, I love the Bible. So the Bible is the source when it comes to the subject of manhood. And I'm drawing from the Almighty planting man in the garden as his masterpiece. So man will wear a number of caps. He's like the king of creation, given dominion. So you have there someone who has the pressure to be a leader, whether trained or not, but life propels you to, with the expectation that you should lead in your generation. But also connected to that is the issue of fatherhood. That you, as a man, as you grow, you're going to be a father. That is also connected to leadership on a different level. And for me, a father is a founder of a lifestyle. So that's pressure again for you to actually perform, and give us results. But there's an aspect of manhood that I think sometimes we ignore. Being a son. Because as a son, you just become an expression of the lifestyle. Because if the father is the founder of a lifestyle, the son is the one that lives that lifestyle. You demonstrate that lifestyle. And that calls for dependence, that you are looking up to someone. As long as I can remember, manhood for me has always been influenced by men around my life. There's no mothering happening here. There's fathering taking place here, and it changes everything. So for me, those are the 3 things.
It's great. Thanks for that. Pastor Easy.
Thank you. I think for me, when I'm looking at manhood in particular in this nation, one of the things I'm noticing is we're in a time where there's a vicious attack on masculinity, and being a man now seems to be a bad thing. and particularly for black South African men, before apartheid oppression. Come out of apartheid, let's champion the girl child. Straight after that, toxic masculinity. Straight after that, down with the patriarchy. And men are now, it's now illegal to be a man. And men are not free to express their erections, their aggression, and their provision as they should. And the entire culture is just beating down on men. And I'm so glad that even the preacher today, sometimes when you go to conferences, even men are just the subject of attack. But the preacher was very good in terms of also encouraging us and giving us a voice. Because I once said it on your podcast, one of the most unhelpful statements was the future is female. We need a future of men, because men build families. Men are the ones who raise up families. Men are the ones who God spoke to in the garden. And even after the fall, the first thing he said to Adam was, "Where are you?" Because we're living in an age where men are lost. And men are feeling naked, unappreciated, and society all the time is telling you it's wrong to be a man. And so because of that, God is really concerned with how we begin to change the narrative of what is godly masculinity. Godly masculinity is a good thing. Patriarchy is not a bad thing, particularly for families, because the men need to rise to be able to raise up their families. And as men, we're being attacked in two areas, our wallets and our zippers. So what the enemy is doing in our time is making sure that men are economically disempowered, so they don't have the confidence to build families. And those who do make it financially, they look around and they see in this city the harvest is plenty, but the laborers with the economics are few. So they become combined harvesters, taking everything that's available, because we've been limited economically. And because of that now, the few who do make it are causing a lot of chaos out there. So the one area where we need to come back to is where we understand that our identity comes from God. And He told us, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and subdue and have dominion. So as men, our reaction to the system isn't to be passive. Our reaction is to stand up by faith and begin to move out there and be fruitful, to be productive. We've got to multiply, get married. The future of South Africa is going to be built by husbands and fathers. Men who take those two leadership positions, which the enemy doesn't want you to step into, which is husband and father. And also that we have to be people who also subdue, which means to bring order. We bring order in our homes, we bring order in our businesses, we bring order in ourselves, and that's how we're going to move the country forward. When we turn to God and proudly take our positions as husbands and fathers, then we're going to be able to see a lot of change in the nation.
Thanks for that, brother.
Yeah, I feel like I can just collect offering now because the apostles have spoken. Blaque, that question is just, it's quite a deep one for me. I think as a young man, I have moved from the what, to the then what, and to the how. And then I think a lot of us know the what. You need to be a good man, you need to provide, da. But then what? After knowing that, my biggest struggle has been then what? And over and above that, how? So that has always been my challenge, and I just want to concur with what Apostle is saying. How I've managed to navigate that is actually connecting with men who have walked the journey. I'm very big on mentorship, I'm very big on submission, I'm very big on being a son, so that I can be taught. The Bible says, go to the crossroad today, ask of the ways of the old and follow the ways. So that has been my thing, and I feel like the more I interact with Amachita, because I talk a lot with Amachita, we hear a lot about, hey, you need to perform in the right performance, I'm big on that. You need to perform sexually, then what, and how? How do I do that? Right, so those questions, I think, are not just questions that I've been asking myself, but I think it's questions that most Amachita are asking themselves. And I think a larger part of it is because of lack of abubaba, and mentorship. I often say that fatherlessness, especially in the body of Christ, should be a sin. that elders are very scared to commit. Right? It is criminal to have, young boys and men in the church who are fatherless. And more often than not, we have given that responsibility to pastors, but they can't do it all. Right? So it means we need to take it upon ourselves to say, we identify amajita that we can actually try and mentor and have and build a community around, because fatherlessness should be a sin that we scared to commit.
It's good, bro.
I don't know what to say after that, but I'm gonna try take offering. I'm trying to think of the guys that I work with in prison. So I'm from Cape Town, and we work with all the number gangs that you may know of. And one of the talks that we do in prison is Heal the Thug. By the way, you're all thugs sitting in here. All of you. All of you guys, yeah.
With all your degrees.
It's about to get past now. We all thugs, including myself. And what I mean by that is that you are a traumatized human being who's not able to grieve. A thug is a traumatized human being unable to grieve. The reason why we have all these issues in the world of gender-based violence is because we as men are not attached to our emotions. We have went through so many things that we are afraid to grieve the things that we have lost. And tears have become a weakness. And I tell guys all the time that if tears don't come out, blood is going to come out. Which one do you prefer? And a man who cannot grieve cannot heal. And a man who cannot heal cannot grow. The minute we come out here looking all buff and stuff, thinking that we have all, everything is good, that's the beginning of your problems. All of us in here have lost something that we haven't had a funeral for. It's a job, it's a girlfriend. All those things, you have bottled them inside of you. And when I trigger you, you fight me. I'm triggering you right now. I'm not the problem. The things that I'm triggering inside of you are the problem that you need to confront and deal with. David triggered Saul. Rather than Saul dealing with the stuff that were coming out, he was dealing with the wrong person. Mentors will trigger you, but they are not the problem. The things that are coming out of you is the thing that you need to deal with. But here's the thing, men don't have safe spaces to go to grieve the things that we have lost. Even us, Majita, we're not safe people. We judge each other all the time. If I come to you and say I'm struggling with my erection, the next minute, give message on stage. I'm an example. I'm an example on stage. Yeah, my name is not there, but Pastor, my story is there. Then there's all this shame and there's all this guilt that I need to navigate around. Right now, being a man means going to Posmo. Right now, being a man means going to the mountain. Right now, being a man means being circumcised. If you tell a guy here, I get this all the time, sometimes, have you been to the mountain? If you haven't been to the mountain, you've been to a clinic. You're a small boy. Doesn't matter how many children that you have. So there's culture, there's society, there's that pressure that me and you have to navigate around all the time. But something that we try to do is create safe spaces for men in prison. Because they're not there because of crime. They are there because they were traumatized. And that trauma was weaponized. And that led them to crime. So if we want to deal with crime, we got to deal with the little boy inside of us. I was rejected when my mother was 3 months pregnant. So some of us, we need to heal from the womb, not when we are out from the womb. So my rejection was from the womb, not from when I came out, was from here. So when I got divorced a few years ago and I had to heal, I was not healing from my ex. I was dealing with the little boy inside of me who was rejected, who was reminded that you're not worthy. So rather than dealing with her, I was like, I've seen this bra before. So the little boy inside of me was trying to kill me. That's the boy I had to heal from. Not what happened, but the little boy inside of me. So, Buffett, you need to do number 3. Nobody laughs at you for going to do number 1. Nobody laughs at you for going to do number 2. But why are we laughing for people for going for number 3? What is number 3? Crying. Those are human being stuff. Those are natural things that's supposed to come out. It's either you become a dam or you become a river. But which one smells better? And some of you, the reason you are to choose things is because you have become a dam. Because you are not allowed your tears. You have not allowed your tears. You have not allowed your tears. You have not allowed those things to come out. My medication was porn. What is your medication? That was my drug. I didn't need that drug. I needed a hug. I needed a father that I never had. But I didn't have that guy. He decided to be a sperm donor. Then I'm pizza Phineus.
I fight you.
Let me drop the mic here.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, the mic will come to you now, brother. You can continue. Yeah.
Well, I'm supposed to be the therapist in the room. Be the one who talks about traumas and triggers and griefs. Thank you very much for talking about that. My experience of being a man is looking around the room and finding that I'm the only one wearing a blazer in a generation that looks like it has forgotten long about it. And I still have to be okay with it. Right, for me, I had struggles defining myself as a man. I ended up going to the dictionary, male icon human being. Okay, fine. But I needed something more. I mean, I remember I asked specific men from our church, what does it mean to be a man? How do I become a man? I was struggling. And then nobody answered me. They blue ticked me. Because, and then I was angry, but something in me said, but how, if you don't know how to be a man, how do you expect them to know? I mean, we are living in a generation, in actually very critical times. And I want to make an example with the story of Mephibosheth. His father died in battle. His grandfather died in battle. The mother was nowhere to be found. The caregiver dropped him. And that's what's still happening, even these days. Fathers are nowhere to be found, maybe dead or deadbeat or absent. Grandfathers are not linked to their sons. Mothers don't know what to do with their children because you can't take care of your child and go and work to provide for your child at the same time. So you have to leave your child with the caregiver. And the caregiver, meaning well, drops the child. And Mephibosheth was crippled for the rest of his life. And he was 5 years when he was dropped. So I've seen that happening when I was working for the Department of Social Development. How mothers drop children at the ECD centers, especially boys, it creates a sense of abandonment. That, okay, my mother dropped me here with strangers because she doesn't love me. And because she doesn't love me, that means I am unlovable. And because I'm unlovable, nobody will ever love me. But now that I'm a man, I'm going to make sure that I am not the one abandoned. I'm going to do the abandoning. So I get into a relationship, and when I feel a sense of discomfort and get a feel of my mother and my caregiver in you, I abandon you before you abandon me. Sometimes we don't abandon our women by telling them it's over. we abandon them by checking out emotionally in the relationship. Then you are there. You are having sex. You have an erection, but you don't have a heart. You don't have the affection. Your children and your wife miss you while you are there because you have rejected them before they can reject you, like your mother did when she dropped you with the strangers. So, and we need to, part of what, now I think I'm going to borrow your anointing, Apostle, here. I think one of the first things that a man did in the garden was name things. I think as men we were called to change the narratives, to write new stories about masculinity, to teach the society that, yes, you don't have to be afraid of me, you need to feel safe around me. As a man, I learned the hard way to say, okay, because now the society teaches us that being a man means you have to be emotionless, you have to be heartless, you have to be feared, you have to dominate, and you have to be sexually dominant. You have to have multiple sexual partners, and we count our masculinity through the head counts, whether the people that we had sex with or the people that we killed. Because we have no healthy definition of what it means to be a man. And when you look at TikTok, it's not making things any better, because now they emphasize the importance of ignoring a woman. If you ignore a woman, now we are sort of rubbing salt into the wound. And we have created a generation of people who are spreading wrong narratives about who a man is supposed to be. I used to believe a man is synonymous with strength. I used to believe a man has to be emotionless. I used to believe a man is not supposed to ask for help when he is in trouble, when he is in need. Because as men, we have an inherent need for competence. We need to know, we have a need to know that we are good at what we are doing. And when you attack our sense of competence, we become aggressive and we fight back. But what I learned is that we have to write a new story about being a man. A man is compassionate. A man is empathic. A man is a protector. Like your children and your wife and your girlfriend or whoever, they are not supposed to run away from you. They are supposed to run to you. But the world taught us that those people should run away from us. They should fear us. Being feared is not what a man is supposed to be. What a man is supposed to be is being trusted, being respected. Because we are switching to the side of love, compassion, emotional intelligence, and empathy. Being a man means the world has to be better because you live in it.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. I'm glad that some of the themes for today's conversation were already touched, and we definitely going to unpack some of that some more. There was a hand at the back. Somebody wanted a clarification or to ask a question. So if you could please get up.
I actually wanted to pose a question to the man that speaks about elections.
Yes, sir. There's a room if you want.
Okay, so I think it goes on to all the gents that are up there to actually say, without much spiritualizing it, and how do we then, the how question, do we go out there to actually help out the brothers that are actually not believers, so that we can bring them into this fold where these things are being discussed? How do we then go about doing that?
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the question. Maybe Themba and Apostle could take this one. It speaks about, at least it touches on the aspect that you brought up of community, having a brotherhood, having mentors. So how can we get guys who are not in this room to be in this room?
He said we should not spiritualize it, but we cannot avoid it, because right after the fall of man, we have a concept of the story of Cain and Abel, which raises what he's concerned about. Am I my brother's keeper? So I think as soon as we view other people, and I would go as far as saying saved or not saved, there's an element of brotherhood, particularly in the context of Christ, that should make me to reach out to someone, loving my neighbor. So it still takes me to that concept of saying it is important that we refocus our attention to the point that as much as I know, based on the things that I've been through, that actually I need brothers around. Because we like friendships, but we don't embrace brotherhood. We can have friends and have issues with friends, but we don't really know how to build brotherhood. If you can test brotherhood also with your biological brother and so on, you'll find that there are actually issues. So it's important that we lift up that banner of brotherhood again and shout to society, I'm a brother's keeper. Sure.
It's great, Themba. Before you add, bro, if you could get up again, man. We want to make this very practical, like you said. If you can grab the mic. What have you done that you can share with us to encourage us on how we can get brothers into this room?
That's why I'm here to learn. What I actually, as you guys are talking, I'm seeing there's value in groups like this. We need more of this. This room needs to be filled. There should be an overflow. But how do we create that overflow is what I was actually trying to ask.
That's cool, man. That hand was up first. Yeah. So if we could get a mic to Themba, maybe you can comment.
I think there are two things about brotherhood. Number one, vulnerability. The second one is accountability. The reason why we very much struggle with, creating brotherhood and having brothers around us because we're not vulnerable. And men lie a lot. Right? In America, we lie. What Blaque was talking about, we lie a lot. I've seen it a lot when you work with men. Men lie even about their erection and stuff like that. Right? We lie about such things. Studies have shown us that 7 in 10 men are struggling with sexual-related issues. But when you have conversations with men, you don't hear such things. You know, all those things. So 2 things, vulnerability and accountability.
Yeah. Then
Overall, so.
that's what the D is for.
Okay, yeah. My question is basically for anyone on the floor. I would like to address, I think, a topic that is usually very much ignored or very much scared to, like people are very much scared to address that topic, right? Especially in my church, at least. So on my end, I think I've spoken to you, Mr. Blaque newborn, so on Instagram. So I've lived a lifestyle.
It wasn't me who responded, bro. Whatever they said. If it was good, it's me.
That's good. I was basically sharing as to how I have lived a homosexual life before, and I've left that life behind and everything. So basically going forward. So basically moving forward, so with my, I guess, lifestyle and childhood, I've never had that good example of how men should act, how you should basically look up to someone who's a father, as I've had an absent father in my life, and the father figures that were around weren't good, I guess, examples of what manhood could be. In the most possible way, it was presented mostly in an abusive or vile way. So in essence, it's a matter in which the question I'm asking is, how can we bring about like mentorship to occur within these kinds of spaces or within the church? Because with the church that I attend, I've tried seeking mentors, I've tried seeking people, but whenever I present my case, it's as if I kind of intimidate them in a sense, or I kind of push a button that they're very much scared to basically face. I don't know how to present it, but yeah, this is the best way I could.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. I'm failing to keep up with the hands, but Phineus, do you wanna take that first, bro? Because I think the thing you brought about, just emotional range that men have, so it's Jason Wilson who says we like the box of crayons that only have 12 colors in them, when women have 69, right? And so how do we process that, walk through that, especially with what the brother has just shared now?
Don't be personal.
Don't be personal. Wrong thing for me, my guy. First of all, thank you for that question. I respect for you. I usually tell people that, for the mind to be renewed, the heart needs to feel safe. I don't confine in mentors that I don't feel safe with, that my heart doesn't feel safe with. That think they are more superior than I am. I don't approach mentors with titles and mentors who are too busy. So I always look for the Pauls, not the souls. Because Paul will always have time for Timothy. And Paul will never be intimidated by Timothy. And oftentimes we have mentors who will be intimidated by you. Because your testimony, my brother, is deeper than them. So you'll find yourself mentoring a mentor. I've been there, where sometimes mentors expect you to be very passive and very humble, because they want to exploit you and want you to feed their insecurities. So you need wisdom, you need discernment. I wouldn't want to take you as a mentee. You are so deep into what you have been through that you need people who can really understand, not just from a spiritual point of view, but psychologically as well. That's why people like him, I have so much respect for them. Because we need to understand that God made us holistic. We are spiritual beings living in a body with a mind. We're not just you possessed with demons. That's what I'm saying. All of you guys are full of number 2. All of us here, and that's why, and that's why, guys, we need to humanize this conversation, right? Because if I'm going to be spiritual here, when I go into Paul's, I don't go into Paul's as a pastor. I go into Paul's as a gangster. Because if the guys can relate with me, they can connect with me, and then I can influence them. But if I'm going to speak with that brother like I'm here, with my degrees and whatever, he will never come to my level. Jesus came down as a man to bring us to his level. He didn't tell us come here, he came down. And the problem with a lot of us as mentors is that we're telling everybody down here to come up here. With what level? With what level? We need to come down and be humble enough to understand that all of us go to the toilet. All of us are human beings who have been through stuff. And we're not better than anybody. We've just been through traumas in different forms, in different ways. And the way we navigate around that is different. I know pastors who are addicted to porn. Just because you have a title and you're up here doesn't mean you are more better than me. I'm not sitting here because I'm better than you, Vic. I've been through stuff. You have been through stuff. The best thing that I can do is to meet with you as a brother, not as a speaker. That's why I took my name tags off. Why? Because I want... So what I'm saying, bro, is that I need to meet you in a human form. I need to meet with you as a brother. I need to meet with you in a human form, as a broken human being who you can relate with, not as somebody who pretends and performs to be something that they're not. We gotta be authentic. Going back to the garden means going back to your authentic self, which means going back to being human. Not just spiritual, a human being, not just a human doing. A lot of us are human doers here, and we don't know how to be human beings. And we need to go back to what does it mean to be with you, to be like Mary and not like Martha. If I relate with you through a title, we'll never reach each other. But if I relate with you through being a human being, my guy, me and you will be brothers forever.
I'm just also mindful of time. Who feels like the inner rap battle when Phineus is speaking? So, that's fine, man. That was really, really good. I think you probably want to add something, but I don't want us to deviate from, I think, also the essence of the question. You know, as somebody who struggled with homosexuality, God has delivered him from that. And at that level, he's trying to find men to walk with him. That might be you, today, right? And we all hear that Phineas, and you're like, man, like, I'm struggling. Stuff is tough, right? And we shouldn't run away from that, you know. So how can we speak into that? If somebody's still there, and for somebody like my homie who's been delivered from that, what do we do in light of what Phineas said? Phineas said that we walk with him, show him what manhood is according to what God has defined manhood to be. Yeah.
Well, here's a quickie. I think as men we need to accept that at some point we become the first generation recoverers.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilbur and Orville Wright didn't have anyone to ask how to build a plane because they were the first to build it. So if you are the first to be healed and restored in a certain area of your life, you might not find someone who has a frame of reference on how they can help you. So sometimes you need to understand that we get healed to be the pioneers of that healing in our lives. And that's what I get the feeling about you, my brother. You are healed from something. Your healing has no frame of reference. So you are the pioneer in that healing. In other words, you are the mentor in the making for the very same problem. Sometimes we need to be compassionate on the mentors because they have no clue how to help us navigate the space that we are the first one to navigate. And that's why I respect what you said, that we need mentors who are able to learn from us. Let them not try to lead us, let them track us. And let them guide us through our ways of discovery. Let them give us general principles of life. And at the same time, let them learn from us as we navigate this road for the first time. So some of us are faced with uncharted territories. Others are assigned with the role to break generational curses that have been there in ancient times. And being the first one to break that curse has no frame of reference. Unfortunately, we have to come to accepting that at some point you are the first person to be healed, and then you are the pioneering healer in that field. You are the mentor that you're looking for.
I'm catching feelings. I think one of the things why our response is good but still limited is because we judge. And we don't provide community for someone who sings differently from you. And we need to make up space. We are concerned more about our reputation. Because we are the light of the world and the salt of the world. We are not supposed to be seen so and so. There's a difference between someone who is going through the challenge with homosexuality and somebody practicing it. So we should be able to draw the line, especially when someone is honest, and you should not also expect them to be perfect. There's a book I read, I'm not sure if I will be correct with the title. It says The Grace of God and the Homosexual Next Door. And I think it's a recommendation for this. But also there's a brother I know that I had to protect, a number of times because I knew his stance on it. And he never got into it because he just felt he's different. He got into it because he was molested, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So he had concerns, during, I officiated his marriage covenant. So he had concerns as to whether the election that he's talking about is going to happen. And those are very serious challenges. But it's good that he called me days after and said it's working. And I'm happy that I've officiated many marriages that even if you can trace, you'll never know who I'm talking about. In the SCO, I had several calls. They have a policy there that says if someone's on homosexuality, they should not even climb the worship team and things like that. And somebody one day asked me, Muruti, if you were struggling with this thing, what would you do? Loving God, fearing God. And my answer was, I was going to go celebrate so that I can do my calling and avoid all my challenges. But we're not all having the same grace. My appeal is for us to be a bit accommodative. When you see someone and you feel like they're soft, and then you reject them, it's wrong. And we should be able to call it what it is. Because we are not helping by doing so. Then they find themselves within their community because they are rejected by people that they are supposed to receive. One of the best things that we can adopt is to be very discreet in this life. It will not kill you to be discreet. Being a fast. Amen. Amen. The Bible is even clear by saying we should carry each other's burdens. So I pray that we have a change of attitude and a little bit accommodative and embracing without compromising what Scripture has to say. So, it's good.
Yeah, bro.
Cool. So, am I clear? Yeah. Question I got is based on the fact that being married, they said to me, I should pick my battles, right? And that's always usually against what I should not be fighting about. But then my question then remains to be, what should I fight for? Because I know what I shouldn't be fighting about, small petty things, certain things that I can't change about a woman, and all those things. But we never really taught what to fight for, certain things as a man, as a husband, as a father, what in my household I should fight for, and what I shouldn't be passive about when it comes to dealing with my wife. And I think it can also go beyond marriage, what as men we should fight for, and yeah.
Pastor Easy.
The first thing you should fight for definitely is worship. In this home, we're going to worship God. So if you're worshiping something else there in this family, we're worshiping God. That's the first thing we establish, which is what are we following in terms of religion. Because not only are there people who marry unsaved people, but there's people who also come in with certain religious practices which you do not want to then transfer to your children. For those who are watching Married at First Sight, I'm sure there was a certain Christian brother who got trauma at first sight. The Lord was shaping the image of Christ in him. So you want to make sure that we establish, we're going to fight for God. There's going to be a house of the gospel. And then the other thing you want to fight for is the values that you are instilling in the children. You've got to be very clear on those things. And then obviously the vision and direction of the home. But a lot of these things need to be solved in premarital counseling. Because there's always this thing sometimes, whenever we preach about submission, it becomes very contentious. Why must I if he's foolish, should I submit to him? And my question was, who's the bigger fool? The one who you chose the fool. So in premarital counseling, a lot of these conversations I had in terms of what's our religion, where we're going, where are you going as a man? So this old pastor of mine used to say that if you've got a bus going to Cape Town, you can't ask halfway, why are we not going to Polokwane? So before you get on the bus, you got to know, where is this man going? Where are we going as a family? So that's where premarital counseling plays a significant role. So you fight for worship, you fight for purpose, you fight also for children, and what kind of kingdom identity that you're imparting to them. And just building on the incredible message which our pastor shared, he showed us that every time the enemy tries to twist the word, and we as men have to understand that we are also safeguarding just what the word is, what has God spoken to us. And anytime I'm having an argument with my wife when she's complaining about something in her life, she always knows my first question is, what is God saying? What is God saying? Because that's what matters. Because challenges are not always bad. Because many times in our world, in the kingdom of God, challenges are what shape the image of Christ in us. Problems are what shape the image of Christ in us. He told us there's going to be thorns and thistles, and we have to plow through that and trust God as we go. And just the incredible presentation by the psychologist on aggression, erection, understanding all those things again. And I love what he said, that it's all about the placement, where you place these various things, where you place that aggression. So we fight against, particularly right now, there's a lot of influences in media that are targeting our children. If you watch Netflix, every day there's something there which is toxic to their development. So we have to also fight for that and say, I remember at my daughter's school, their friends went to watch Tyler perform, and the parents didn't tell us. And they told my wife, we know your husband. She will say no. And I'm so happy that they know that here we're not going to do water. There are certain things we stand on. So we fight for our kingdom values, we fight for our vision, and we fight for our families.
So, man, there's so many hands up, and we ran out of time. Yo.
Can I ask Apostle a question?
No, you can't, bro. No, this guy, just because he knows my name, is like, he thinks I'm gonna... No, bro. The clock says 00000.
After the session.
After the session, definitely. Yes. That's what I wanted to say. Bro, are the girls still talking? Because if they are, then I said,
They're still talking.
okay. Just needed to check.